Mr. DeFazio for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This obviously is an extremely important topic, particularly as regards fire to those of us who live in the western U.S. My home state had 664,000 acres burned last year, and we spent $454 million on attack and extinguishing and some very preliminary restoration activities. And obviously, I don't think things are going to get better. We're having a very low snowpack this year. And with climate change, which some of us believe in, it's going to get worse. Now, we have a study. And, you know, we do a lot of stuff around here that just doesn't make one iota of sense. So we have the Natural Hazard Mitigation Study, that interim report 2017. We save $6 post-disaster for every dollar of pre-disaster funds that FEMA invests. I'm not going to say spends because these are investments. And yet, the staff of the president, I'm sure he hasn't seen any of this, have proposed to cut that funding to $39 million. Now, they can say, oh, the deficit's $61 million smaller because we cut this wasteful program. Except if the disasters happen, and they will, and using that same formula, we just had a paper savings of $61 million, and the actual cost would be over $360 million to the taxpayers of the U.S. Now, the difference is we come up with a phony budget and this omnibus thing being negotiated behind closed doors. Who knows what we'll get for pre-disaster in there. But then when a disaster actually happens, we say, oh, the rules, they don't count. We're just going to borrow the money, and we'll do it afterwards. So you can be fiscally responsible by cutting a program that can save a hell of a lot of money, potentially save lives, save property. But then in the end, you're going to spend more. But it didn't, you know, that doesn't count because we did that off budget with a supplemental emergency appropriation. Boy, is that dumb. You know, we do other dumb things. We require that the Forest Service and the BLM pay for their own firefighting. Every year they exhaust those budgets. Every year they then begin to reduce other outlays for the fiscal year, including fuel reduction, mitigation measures that they would take, leading us to more intense fires in the future. But somehow Congress in its wisdom has decided that floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, windstorms, et cetera, those are all natural disasters that you know, would go via FEMA and ultimately be paid through an emergency supplemental. But nope, not forest fires. Nope, they don't count. No matter how big, no matter how catastrophic, no matter what the loss is. I haven't even seen, and we'll probably hear a number today from the Honorable Gorin about what the total losses are. I mean, many billions of dollars in addition to the lives lost. You know, this is really, we've got to start making a little more sense around here, and hopefully today will help lead us in that direction. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.